All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Matcherino Cup. This is where it gets really started as we hop into the best of threes, and it's the first best of three today. I got a comment, though, a bit of a joke to be made, but in all seriousness, this is the first time we've ever cast two of our subscribers battling each other in an actual tournament setting that's not some, like, BaseTradeTV sub-tournament. This is kind of cool. Snoot and Healer, both longtime subs to the channel. Big love to both of them. I'm a little bit torn on who to cheer for now. Because, like, at least you're like, okay, underdog or not, you know, Healer's the subscriber. So you're like, yeah, hometown hero, we got this. But so's this guy.
I'm going to cheer for Healer.
Okay.
I got you.
Let's still go with the underdog then. But this guy in the top left is going to be the man who just took down Zest most recently, 3-0. So in my opinion, doing quite well recently, the Red Zerg Team Liquid Snoot.
In the bottom right, as the Blue Terran, he's Healer.
And Healer is actually doing something that I started experimenting with, so I'm glad to see that I'm not the only dummy to do this. But that's put your barracks in the low ground. Because if you do it like this, like let's say for a second that this is not just Snoot, and you're worried about some guy really getting aggressive early. Barracks, bunker, depot, full wall off. Like, it's not the cleanest thing you've ever seen, but it is a full wall off despite these unbiddable rocks being here.
I was going to say, it would be better without these rocks.
Yeah, or at least put
Rocks
the
are
rocks
in the right... Yeah, they're not in the right position. They're literally not in the correct position.
Well,
like...
the thing is, though, if you build the bunker on the top side of the rocks and put the depot to the left side of the rocks, it's still the same amount of buildings required to wall it off.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's just awkward as fuck.
But, it was just literally, like, it's just one of those things that, like, Blizzard, you know, they might have said, I don't even know if they talked about it. They were like, no, we meant to do that. But it's like, they didn't. Like,
it's like the mini-map
put it on the
change.
wr't spot. Like, come on now. Yeah, no, exactly.
Man, that is, I want to almost, like, order badges for us. Just so, like, it's the only thing we could, you know, for nothing else. That's the one thing we did for StarCraft 2. Not create a bunch of tournaments, not post things, not whatever. It's, we saved the mini-map. And then Blizzard's slowly trying to ruin it again with Creep. I'm just saying. And we're gonna, we can't let that happen, Zombie Girl.
We gotta save it. I'm gonna get 2 badges. I saved the Lurker and I saved the mini-map.
Alright, so Factory coming out with the tech lab here, I wouldn't be surprised to see something weird out of Healer. I guess for some better context on this guy, because we've seen Snoot through many different tournament facets. A lot of people have seen him play. I don't think Snoot needs to let it be talked about, but Healer certainly does. Because Healer's pulled out mech from time to time. He's certainly building incredibly strange with his tech being in the natural. This is actually really vulnerable like this. He doesn't have a full wall off at the top. Tries to do it just now.
Well,
so all these nice things I could say get a little bit awkward.
Those destructible rocks. Yeah. So this isn't going to be game ending, hopefully.
Well, Snoot's following this up with roaches. And the idea behind this, too, isn't just like you're going to make a couple of roaches. You make a couple of ravagers, and suddenly having a siege tank doesn't lock you in for defense like it once did.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even the thing is, these lings will probably survive as well.
Look
like the tank has to give up his. I think has to give up the natural to actually come and help deal with this. Then even then, it risks getting not killed, but a little bit of damage on it from the lings. Actually, as it sieges, the lings will try and go down there.
This kills me though, because Healer could have fully walled this off with this same build that he has. Like, if that, I'm not shitting you guys. Go test this if you don't believe me. If that depot was to the left of the rocks, if the bunker was above it, and the factory was right above that, you have a full wall off, and none of this happens. No mining gets lost. No macro is missed. Like, this is unfortunately awkward because he built the wall a bit poorly.
I also don't see, like, I see the reasoning for the barracks to be put down there, and then I guess you wanted, like, that much quicker of a tech lab to build a factory there, too. But, like, the starport's also there, and it's very obvious scouting for the oval that usually sits above your natural, and it is something for the Ravagers to poke at that isn't just, like, an innocent bunker.
Well, and even if it's not Ravagers, that's such an easy pick-off for Mutas.
Yeah, that's right, too. Like, Mutas, they got to that, so...
So, I mean, this game was over the second the wall was breached. I mean, I hate to be that guy, but yeah, I think Healer knows it too. So GG, game number 1, gonna go to Liquid Snoots. But cast a cursed Healer, Zombie Girl, by cheering for him.
My bad.
Our mistake was cheering for one of the players. Son of a bitch.
Ooh, what if you cheer for the other player?
So now we just cheer really hard for Snoot and hope that somehow curses him? That just seems like malicious. Very needlessly malicious.
Nah, it's fine. It's gonna be Dusk Towers next.
All right. So let's see who. So the winner of this would go on to fight against a Zerg in either TLO or a laser. Truth be told, I wouldn't mind casting a ZvZ since we did do a whole tournament without it, which was nice.
Almost.
But on the other hand, I see what is possibly Hydra or Bly versus Bunny in round 3, and that really that
that's so
tickles
much
my
better.
fancy. Alternatively, too, Mana or Nightem versus Beastie or Tang Tang. Like, again, I feel like we're a bit spoiled with the brackets today. Never do we ever get brackets that look this sick.
It's been a while.
Anyways, Dusk Towers coming up for map 2. We'll see you guys here in just a moment. So as our bot is so graciously linking in chat, I would like to quickly kick off this game by talking about the prize pool. The prize pool for this tournament today starts at $0. Now this sounds a little bit weird. Why would we have such a sick bracket if the prize pool starts at $0? And that's because we can make it much bigger, and you guys can help us do this even without having any money or giving credit card information or giving PayPal. You don't have to do any of that. All you gotta do is go to the Matcherino site link that has this tournament. So ask anyone in chat if you don't know what the link is, and you type in the code BTTV4 like this. That spelled exactly like that. And Matcherino will donate $1 to the prize pool for you. It's their way of saying, oh, you brought BaseTradeTV, you brought somebody new to our website, or a returning visitor to our website. So here we'll put $1 into the prize pool for you as a thank you. We got about 100 codes of these, then we got like 300 extra codes. I say about 300, I don't know what the actual count is, but we got a bunch of like extra codes left over from previous events that we haven't used up that they said we can transfer to this one as well. So let's use those codes up, guys. Let's get the prize pool. At the moment, like I said, it was 38 bucks. At the end of this series, at the end of this game, I want to see that be closer to 100 because it costs you nothing as a viewer, but it helps give the players money. And in the past, we've raised, I think the record was like $912, right, with Hydra the last time we did this. I don't imagine we'll quite shoot that high again, but I want to see some awesome interaction, guys. So that being said, in the bottom left, he's taking 2 gases, but not without an expansion. It is going to be the blue Terran player healer.
The top right as the red Zerg, it is Liquid Snoot. Snute.
So maybe Frozen Temple messed with healer, or maybe healer just was actually planning to bridge that gap like 10 seconds from when he got attacked. I don't know, but that first game was not a great display on Healer's part, and it kind of sucks because for us, you know, we're hyping him up. We love the guy. We've seen him play well, so for us, we know it's not a big deal. But some of you guys might be watching the first time, you're like, okay, who's this shit tier Terran? Am I right? Give him a chance here in Dusk Towers. This is a map I think everybody's about a million times more comfortable with. It became the standard map, and with his style of play, whether it's going to be mech or straight to air, this is a map that certainly conforms to that play style.
That's true. But we have seen the likes of Snoot and other, you know, Zerg on his skill level go really well against that air mech thing.
Right. Versus Ryung, I think, is still one of like the highest viewed videos on like SC2 highlights. That parasitic bomb thing got like 30,000 views or something insane.
Oh my goodness, that was insane. But I mean more, like I can't remember who it was, but there's a couple different people that are actually trying to go for the air mech thing. I mean, Lilikanin tries to go for it. Healer would be surprised to go for it. There's a couple other Terrans that actually throw it out in a best of 3 because it's actually pretty good. Like Gumiho did it on Laralac, but we've seen Zergs learn about it, adapt to it, and actually deal with it pretty well. There's still always that chance you're going to be caught off guard. If they don't scout it, they get caught off guard by like the speed banshees, or they underestimate the power of liberators, or something like that. But I have actually real confidence in Snoot to know this guy, first of all, even just a little bit, because they have participated in the similar tournaments. I don't know if they've ever been faced each other specifically, but and it's just I mean, it's something that Zergs are getting better at scouting for. So as long as Snoot doesn't play like stupid, basically, and never scouts, it would be something you would find. And look at that, a fusion core already.
Yeah, so we're going to have Liberators come out on a map like this. Is not too surprising. I am more surprised that it's going to be combination tank drop, though, and Viking to clean up Overlords first.
So, yeah, I guess the Viking cleans up the Overlords, and the Medevac is going to bring the tank along with the Liberators. He's going to have to micro pretty heavily to actually keep both of those alive.
Well, one thing I was going to comment on for this, I mean, for Snoot to see the reactor on the starport may put his mind at ease, thinking, oh, okay, I'm not going to have to deal with the what is quote bunny liberators, right? But actually, that's probably going to get swapped off here in a moment. It's funny though. I guess we still refer to it as the bunny build, even though we haven't seen anyone do it for a while, bunny included. But it was so abusive for so long.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was like Nathanius made this like tutorial video on how to do it and got like hella views, but more importantly, it's like almost everyone believes the reason Liberators are getting like looked at, nerfed, and touched. Like, I really hope that that targeting circle thing doesn't go through.
Yeah, I agree. I just never thought.
I don't mind
actually
the
seen Liberators have
range
a
being
problem.
touched. Like, you can make that like hell. You can make it so Liberators can shoot directly under them for all I care. Fine. But, like, don't make that targeting reticle so small that nothing's going to walk in it.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll see what they do with it. So the tank drop commences, and actually is going to start things off while the Liberators still pop out.
By the way, gotta give some shoutouts to the fucking awesome BaseTradeTV crowd. That prize pool just crested $100. We're 5 minutes in the game. That's how you get it done, folks. Hell to the yeah. Anyways, yeah, the tank drop being a little annoying. The Liberator and the Viking will, I guess, pick up some of the air. I'm really curious, because he doesn't send his Liberator to the main like I thought he would. This is that obvious abusive spot. Instead, he sends it to the back of the third / possibly the natural. I find that really interesting. Tanks did distract the Queens up at the front, though, so they're not going to be too well prepared to do much. There's not going to be the transfuses to, you know, basically cuddle each other and sit underneath the Liberators. So Spore Crawlers start up right away. Snoot is going for range weapon upgrades, and it's definitely worth noting. Hydras, Ravagers, like these are units that are going to be kind of common to Zerg in general, but we'll deal with most weird builds. But this is really strange to me.
Yeah.
High-Sec auto-tracking this early doesn't, to me, scream turrets, but screams like a potential planetary, question mark? Not here, but
Well,
I'm thinking more like the fourth.
Yeah, for certain the fourth. I mean, usually the fourth is a planetary, but this is going to be an oddly upgraded one. I really don't know if that's going to be the difference maker, though.
I feel like, okay, High-Sec auto-track is cool for a lot of reasons, because it benefits missile turrets, too. There's none in play, but that's besides the point. I personally think if you're really worried about your planetary, you're so much better off going with building armor, though. Like, the planetary Fortress Story has crazy splash, decent range. If you want to keep it alive longer, that's what's going to make it do more damage, not an extra range.
I agree. Like, the extra range always feels like it's only just for the obnoxious fourth bases that have a mineral line you can go behind.
That and siege tanks, because without it, siege tanks unsieged actually cannot range a planetary, which is stupid.
Yeah.
I've always hated that dynamic. It makes no sense to me, because you're like, oh, okay, I guess I didn't need siege mode after all.
People always siege one anyway. Like, no one remembers.
It's more. It feels like it's more damage. It's more powerful. It's louder.
It certainly is more. It certainly is louder. So, okay, I agree. The high-sec auto-tracking is odd, but I think he really isn't planning on using it mostly for missile turrets. So, like, we didn't see any. We're seeing some now. This isn't because of mutas that he's scared of, although, you know, making sure you're not going to get caught off by a mutaless switch is always nice. But more now about against the corruptors, like, make them second guess to go and chase the liberators. It could also potentially help out in those late game scenario battles with Vipers if they put them on the front lines, but that's only if Snoot gets like too aggressive with it, basically. And Snoot, I mean, he's certainly teching, so we'll probably see Vipers.
So he is probably gonna make a planetary at the gold, if I had to guess, to complement all these things we've been talking about.
Yeah, he did this.
But he does 3 armories. One of these is a mistake. I don't think he's going triple upgrades as Terran.
I think he is.
Nobody has that gas.
He picked 3 SCVs and put it down next to each other.
But here's my concern with this.
SCVs.
If you're going to go triple upgrades, that actually eats up so much gas, you're either missing an extra factory or a starport, but more importantly, you're not producing units. And having 3-3 with 5 units doesn't mean anything.
Okay, so here's what I think is happening, right? Like, unfortunately, Healer could be dead wrong in this, but luckily for him, he's not. He's probably assuming that Snoot is going to play the long game, like the macro and then overwhelm you game, because there's 2 different ways to take on a mech player, or, you know, if they're going for Sky Terran, if they're going for regular mech, and that's the bust, like Roach Hydra bust back in the day, or it's the I'm just going to out-expand you and crush you after a while, which is a very dangerous thing to do on Dusk Towers, because you can see Healer already got a kind of a secret 4th and is technically now on his 5th, which is something that you usually want to be able to deny.
This is a side note to this whole Matcherino code thing. Like, this is absolutely correct in chat. This is a record in which we've used our codes. That took what was like 4 minutes in the span of this game alone to use up all the codes for Matcherino. I don't think that's ever happened anywhere. Like, not with Overwatch, not with any of the other games they sponsor. Like, this is insane. So we have other codes, like we said, guys. We'll get them sorted after this game, because some give us like admin ad as an admin or something to like have them qualify. But point of it is, we'll have the extra codes set up after this game. So if you didn't have a chance to donate through the free codes, you still will have a chance to donate. Don't worry. Now, the attack looks like it's... I mean, for Snoot, he's busy mucking around at home. Like, he's playing the macro game. He's got all these infestors. He's got, for the Greater Spire. Cool. Thumbs up on Snoot's part. But what I do worry about is, like, he really did have an opening earlier. Now, not the case. Healer's putting down tons of missile turrets. He's got a ridiculous tank count. I mean, this is something where, for Snoot, I would imagine he thinks he's so much better off than he is. But really, we actually have... Whoa. This changes everything in my books. Magfield, etc. He is actually going for triple upgrades, which blows my mind for a lot of different reasons.
Hilarious.
But Magfield Accelerator and Cyclones are... I gotta stress this, guys. Cyclones are very expensive units. At 150 gas, they're not easy to mass produce. Magfield Accelerator, though, doubles their damage without any actual upgrades necessary, so it makes the actual upgrades a bit questionable. That's where the focus of this is going, but... Nidus from coming down over here. Healer's got a couple of Liberators to help possibly... What did he have for vision on this?
That's what I was about to ask. I don't know. Maybe he's like got an overlord and it's suicided in. We missed.
The Liberators don't have any kills. The turret doesn't have any kills. I don't know how he got vision on that. I really truly don't.
I don't know either. That's specifically what the Liberators are looking for too. It was like any overlord trying to get in there, but
the range on the planetary was enough to take out the Nidus Worm, evidently.
yeah, and this does have building armor now as well, so it would have done a lot of damage if it had any support or more SCVs repairing.
That tank a little bit late to the fight, but yeah, more importantly, the SCVs repairing would have kept us alive longer. For Healer to lose this base sucks. He needs the gas. Like, I can't stress that enough. This wasn't just like, okay, you took a couple of losses, now you're a bit behind. Like, again, triple upgrades, this much production of gas-intense units, this was not something easily given up. And while this was going on, by the way, perfect opportunity to have done something like a run-by, but oh my lord.
Wow.
Oh my lord, I thought he unbound that key.
Yeah, right.
How did he do this?
That's questionable. He clicked on it.
Yeah, just click on
click, click. Okay, so this actually makes sense. This game's been going on for a while longer, even though Snoot is starting to really overwhelm, as I was talking about. Like, taking out that base was pretty important. So, with that in mind, you're actually going to have more than one Locust Wave. And Locust Waves can take out the missile turrets in the front. They can take out, structures in the main base if you just fly over, which I think you can do. Okay, maybe not from that old planetary to the main. But certainly you just go over to the ledge at the 5th base, the new 5th base, start taking on the missile turrets over there. Like, they're good siege breakers. They just take forever.
Yeah, this... no parasites coming at you.
He is rallying them down to the place. I wasn't sure if you could get the Locust over there. But...
Oh, to go from here to the main? Yeah, I guess. And there's not going to be a planetary on this side. The Nidus Worm's certainly not going to help things, but the Liberators can actually take them out. Liberators, please get your job.
Yeah, this isn't going to work out. Oh wow, they actually land?
They land hella quick.
Yeah, damn. I thought they were all going to be taken out.
Anything coming out of the Liberator or from the Nidus Worm is going to get liberated. So I mean, a lot of the Swarm hosts aren't being Locusts, excuse me, aren't being utilized, and this. You're right, doesn't end up being worth it, but I think Snoot did something really interesting with this investment in Swarm hosts, because we always talk about the hardest thing to justify for Swarm hosts right now is not the gas or the mineral costs, which are hard to justify, but it's the cooldown. It's almost like a minute cooldown to spawn these Locusts, so you have to presume that you're playing a long game to make these early on. Otherwise, you're only playing for 2 to 3 waves of Locusts. 43 seconds of cooldown. That's ridiculous. That's such a long cooldown.
It is. It's part of the reason as to why they're not worth it. But if the units weren't here, like if the Liberators would stop catching the Swarm hosts would actually be taking out tons of structures. But their one weakness back when they actually were used was like if you made missile turrets or you made Liberators, you just killed all of the Locusts before they landed. Hell, even Thors could do it back in the day when people were first experimenting. But good.
Yeah, it's because I'm remembering the beta games where Igas was planting down like 50 missile turrets around his planetaries specifically because of the Locusts. But okay, so the Swarm host dynamic here didn't really work out. Maybe Snoot was experimenting or not. I don't know. Maybe this is something he has planned. I think it's something that might be a little bit more planned than like on the go, only because we've seen. Who was it? Was it Guru? Guru did this in a bit of a trolling manner. We've seen a couple other players do this, and of course, Cats and some others discussed it more recently. So maybe this is just coming back into trend. But as we can see, okay, that's some scary parasitic bombs. The Locusts are not doing a lot right now, but they are still forcing Healer to fight in engagements where he's not killing anything. Like he's not getting the actual Swarm host kill. He's not picking up Broodlords for it. So Snoot is, well, not super effectively trading out for nothing. His drone count, by the way, hella low. Not because he hasn't necessarily lost a bunch, because he hasn't made that many this game. So he's sitting on 33 workers after accruing that bank. I guess he was just satisfied to just go straight army.
Yeah, he lost 29, so that...
I mean,
yeah,
60 between like 5 bases was still maybe a little low. I don't know, questionable.
Yeah, I think you're right, actually. We do see usually Zerg players, they go for 70 to 80 even if they think the game's going to go on for a very long time, because they're not going to attack. They're going to accrue a bank first.
This
and
is
then
breaking it, though. Combination Locust, but more importantly the Broodlings, causing friendly fire.
Yeah, well, I think it was really that was Snoot's plan all along, you know? Like, he wanted to take out the Loop Raiders, and he did a nice job of getting them low, and then actually taking them out, and then he moved his Broodlords in. So it's still not going to be enough, though. Missile turrets are still taking out Broodlords, Vikings are coming out now as well.
High tracking hype!
Yeah, exactly. And Healer is changing compositions, which is even more interesting.
I really don't know about the Cyclones. I still don't like the Cyclones for this. I think... what I do find interesting is that upgrade a lot of you guys don't recognize in the upgrade tab right now. He's looking for Ravens if he can live long enough to get to them.
Yeah.
That's explosive shrapnel. That makes Secret Missiles and Auto Turrets do 30% more damage, and Auto Turrets do a hell of a lot of damage right now in the game.
What is even happening in this game? So more Broodlords have come in, and I thought he was getting rid of the last 4, but there's still, 8 more, and that will probably end the game. They still have Queens, they still have Corruptors, every now and again they have Swarm Hosts helping out.
He's only lost 3 Swarm Hosts, by the way. The 12 still standing, broke the Sage Tank line. Better than I think Broodlords even would have. Because Broodlords and Infestors, Broodlords and Corruptors would have had to dogfight the Liberators, something I don't think they could have done on their own. But the Swarm Hosts just added so much extra value to this. And again, this is an investment in more time than money, and Snoot has certainly gotten, 6 waves off?
Yeah, that's pretty impressive, considering Swarm Host. But Healer does not want to tap out yet. Like, he doesn't want to tap out, I'm guessing, but I also don't want him to tap out either. Snoot has run out of bank, and Healer still has mining on the top 3 bases, but once his production is camped, it won't even matter. Right,
that's where this starts falling apart. The second he loses his ability to make units with said bank. Vikings are going to fall down once again. Really got to be frustrating. He has banked up in the main, though. It's funny because once upon a time, Cyclone Viking Hellion in the beta was the composition to go for. But that was when Cyclones had more health, and that was when Cyclones could live through more than a couple of shots. Now down to 120 health, they actually have not much health at all, frankly.
Well,
Cyclones will be really good with that Magpelt Accelerator picking up Corruptors. That much is
for
the
Vipers. I was worried that the Vipers would also get the parasitic bombs, but almost 2 went down there. They, I guess, remember their place and look for them there. The Swarm Hosts are going to take out those Hellions in the ground.
Blue Flame Hellions doing pretty good. They've picked off, between the Swarm Host, Locusts, as well as the Broodlings and the Broodlords, they've picked off several Cyclones so far. That Planetary I didn't realize was still standing. It's up to 134 kills, Zombie Grub.
Wow, it's all Broodlings. And he's almost done it.
He's almost broken it.
All the are done.
Yeah. Oh my god, I don't know that Snoot realizes he had no money behind this. He's making Queens, but that's his bank.
Yeah, you're right. He is actually running out of minerals as well, just straight up on the bases he has. So, sooner... If this was pushed back, he'll be in a lot of trouble. He would barely have enough to get a new, healthy mining base.
Oh, look at that mule drop.
And then above that, he'd only have 31 drones to saturate it. So he does have to walk back home. His army, though, didn't die. So it's not that desperate position yet. It is just that, okay, well, maybe Healer can come back now.
This is so cool. I mean, this is something that looks really harrowing. You've got these Broodlords above your base. You just can't be touched with Swarm Hosts. There's so much that's just concerning. And he's still going to be bleeding out anything that's not near a Planetary Fortress. Let's be honest. These Planetaries were the MVPs of this game so far, keeping the waves of free units at bay. But he's going back into Raven production. He's got all the upgrades for them as well. Plus 3 armor, perhaps mattering the most.
I like that Snoot doesn't have Pathogen Glands the entire time. He just waited for his Infestors to accrue energy, but in case he needs to make more as soon as possible, that would be a nice one to have. Now, Healer, I also wanted to note, during that, 4-minute battle, okay, it lasted a long time, that his upgrades only finished about halfway through. So now they are completely done, so his air and his ground are both going to be quite impactful. And Snoot got his own upgrades, so his ground is fine, but it's not really a ground-based game for him.
So a couple of things. First off, we got a new sub. Shout out to CyberSoul SC2. Thank you so much. Hallian9213 just resubbed for 11 months. Slimy Franco resubbed for 11 months. So sorry if we missed anyone else. But I was going to comment. Some people are saying Snoot's just trolling. Swarm hosts are a joke. He's not really trying. But here's the thing, and this is where you really have to take your own definition of trolling into the factor. Snoot has specifically said in several times, like on stream and to me personally, like in both instances, not changing his answer, that he loves tournament play because it's the best way to practice, test, and try new things, because you know your opponents are actually trying. It's not just some ladder giveaway match. So this, to some, might seem as trolling. To me, this is like, okay, this might just be Snoot testing the waters on, are Swarm hosts viable after seeing other players use them?
Sure, yeah. There might be a couple of different options. Like, yeah, one, he's trying something new. He could have ended this game with like a regular versus mech push, but he didn't want to. Two, yeah, exactly. Two, like he actually, you know, we've seen plenty of times people lose actual important matches to things that just don't make any sense. This is pretty nice. So to just remake his drone count. But like, you know, Bjorn has lost to a Villo in a mech versus mech game. You let them get to a certain point, you know, and sometimes it is just like butting your head against a wall. I mean, Nurchio versus Maro. There we go.
Oh my gosh.
Like,
that
he certainly
game
did not
was
want to
crazy.
lose that game, but he did end up losing it, you know, maybe because he underestimated the power initially. But that happens all the time. You underestimate Mecha initially, and then you get, or Protoss in that case, and you get...
I actually, because we got this game going in this direction, I want to tell a story from my ladder experience recently about mech specifically. Auto turrets on Ravens, and I bring this up because there are upgrades in this game specifically for this. Auto turrets on Ravens are so stupid. They've got so much health. They're hard to kill. They benefit from building armor, and they do a ridiculous amount of damage with that shrapnel upgrade. Now, healer's not on like 40 plus, but I played against a Terran in a TvT that had 40 plus. I couldn't do anything. Bio dies to that. Same way Swarm Host, same way Broodlords, same way Vipers, and everything else here will die if there's enough auto turrets on the ground. So, I mean, you bring it up with the Villo versus Beyond. I'm just going to bring it up in context with something I've done recently. The point of it still is that mech can be ridiculous. Doesn't always get to be. It's hard to get to that point.
A more recent, you know, example would have been the Ryung versus Snoot game as well that we brought up once, the very beginning of this game. But that was also Mass Raven. Or almost Mass Raven. There's a lot of secret missiles going down. But, I mean, this game is almost over. Healer, I actually can't believe he bothered to remake a command center. I guess because he really wants to be planetary.
So, there's something going on here that's a little bit important to note for Snoot, in that he's not just relying on static defense to stop the Hellions. As we can see, gonna kill more drones. But Hellbats can actually take on... Oh, point defense drone does nullify the Locust. Is kind of cute. I was gonna say really quick though, Hellbats can actually take on spine crawlers with relative ease. So if these roaches weren't running around catching the Hellions, they would actually get free reign to kill these bases, not just get a couple of drone kills. So really important to know that Snoot is really not... He's not messing around with this situation. Like, I think he's fully aware of how serious this is getting, and how that I guess we'll call it an all-in push, didn't kill his opponent. But it feels weird to say all-in when it comes to Broodlords, because you're that late in the game, it's normally not really all-in.
It is surprising to see Snoot. You know, he got up to 60 drones a couple of different times. He's actually lost so many. He's had a little bit of trouble staying at 60 plus drones. Yeah. So it's surprising to see him get a bank, but then recall, like, he hasn't really been using his army after that. He waddled away with most of his army, so there's not been much replacement here. And a bank still isn't even that big. It's one new healthy base, and then the other two that he's been mining off of this entire time.
By the way, sorry, it's 53 drones less. I was reading that backwards. 90 SCVs have been went.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's even more impressive than the healer to get up back to 60 then.
Yeah, I mean, mules are cool, but you don't actually build that many orbitals when you're playing mech like this. You go planetaries, and more planetaries.
He did have 3 extras, but I think 2 of them died in the Great War, and then 1 replaced
the Great War. The Great War of 12-14. 12 minutes and 14 seconds.
Exactly.
All right, point defense is coming down like mad. I'm surprised that this is where the energy's going, though, to be honest. These are going to wear out really quickly. Point defenses are not as good as they used to be. The Ravens are just being mishandled as they move forward.
Yeah, they just all run into the army.
Locusts are getting trapped behind the Swarm Host. Broodlords and Broodlings aren't getting the shots in. They're finally starting to get the damage done. I want to point out, though, it wasn't so obvious through this. The Cyclones got some really good damage, but then the lock-on started going on all the freebie units, and he started wasting them on the Broodlings and the Locusts, so no longer were the Cyclones melting the Corruptors like they were at the start of that fight. So that's why Healer's got to fall back, and that's ultimately why this goes really badly for him. Just, again, those free units, not about their damage, but they soak so much of Healer's damage.
I'm surprised he's so, like so brazenly just went into that. Like, not only was the army of Snoot scary, but he had all that static defense and a Nidus Worm to reinforce, if that was, his prerogative. But I guess it really wasn't that bad at the end of the day. I thought the Ravens being sacrificed there, like, looked like it was just Healer throwing away an army because he was fed up. But the game is still continuing on, and Snoot, once again, is without a bank. Still gonna try and be very cost effective with free units, these locusts, these broodlings, and Healer, he's got like one more push like that in him though. Like, so, he is now the one starting to round up money.
It's a little bit late now to use Ravens, and I think he's realized this too, which is why we awkwardly see a battlecruiser coming. But I just want to comment back on the auto turret situation for a second. Like, I really didn't like the point defense drones. Like, they soaked a little bit of damage, and that's cool to see. But the auto turrets, with their high priority targeting and their incredible burst damage, now also do that same role, and that's why I think point defense drones are kind of, I don't know, kind of a little bit useless now. They serve the same role as the other ability, but don't do damage.
Oh damn, those fungals are pretty good. Over a spore crawler too, but not much else.
The Liberator number's kind of low now though, which is a bit concerning. We'll see if the Vikings are enough, because Vikings do struggle to take on corruptors like this. The Cyclones really have to make up that difference. We got SCVs just spam repairing what little units are on the front lines, but Healer has a decent army count. Snoot doesn't have a bank. He's got all of these bases, but he's only just recently started mining. As Zombie point out, both players have had so many workers killed and had to remake so many workers. I mean, this game has not been an economy game for either player, really. It was slow play to a maxed out army and then non-stop army fights since then.
Mm-hmm. I really can't believe Snoot would be losing this, but he kind of, I feel like making roaches almost looks really desperate.
The roaches have me a little bit jaded because obviously we got a heavy investment in Vikings, so I think Snoot combination, like maybe lack of confidence in the fungal / parasitic bomb combo working, and maybe even worried about the corruptors dying, might lead to why. But I also think, if nothing else, it's serving the same purpose as the free units, for the Cyclone soaking a lock-on from the, or sorry, the roaches soaking the lock-on from the Cyclone is way more beneficial than having lock-on go into a Corruptor or a Broodlord or even a Viper. That's
true, but that is a free unit versus a not free unit, and Snoot is running out of. He's run out of bank, but he's actually not the one running out of money. He still has 3 kind of healthy mining bases, a 4th he never took in that pocket there. He could probably take the one in the top right too that no one's tried to take.
Yeah, this might be the only base left and available to Healer at a point. I'm not sure if he'll focus on the base though, because for him it might actually just be get one last 200 army, and if that's no good, then that's game,
Yeah. Well, I didn't really think the roaches should be killing anything here, especially at the Cyclones.
Yeah,
like, this is where the Cyclones should have really been really good.
Well, he also had to fight without any sort of support from the sky. He could have used his battle cruiser. He could have used his Liberators.
They could just run away, yeah.
Yeah, he could have just walked away from the situation. Now, I almost wish Healer, rather than use the battlecruiser for the fight, would just teleport it over one of these bases. Even though there's spore crawlers everywhere, 3/3 battlecruiser, like, that doesn't give a fuck about the spore crawler.
If he could multi-prong attack with that, I would absolutely agree. Like, but the creep has gotten once again out of control, despite Healer cleaning it up like 2 or 3 times, I want to say. Spread is pretty good here, and the Corruptors, they really clumped up. They were moving and then stopped, so the Liberators got some amazing shots.
But there's an awkward clock ticking where that parasitic bomb kills everything before Healer kills everything from Snoot. So that's going to be Snoot's game ultimately here.
Even if he killed all the Corruptors, there was actually no answer for the Queens on the ground. Nothing but Vikings left over after the Liberators went down, and it would have taken a while, but they would have killed everything. That's definitely game.
Healer has actually mined out pretty much all of his map though. Like, that's damn impressive. Look at his resource. He's almost 69k.
Yeah. You're at below 60 supply. I think it's probably game. And what's odd? He's been scanning that free base in the middle, the pocket base for Snoot, religiously in this game, like at least 4 or 5 times. It's always been free, so he knows there's an entirely free, easy base for Snoot to mine from.
It's funny to me that Snoot never took that base till now. I guess there's too much of a fear of like something walking up the ramp and just doing that annoying harass. Like, it's worth noting, Snoot actually went all the way around the gold base before taking this base.
He might have just predicted that. Okay, so either he predicted the game would go on for a very long time, and it was like that mentality of get the safer one for last if you can get the not safe ones first. Or it could have been that he saw Healer scanning it all the time and was absolutely worried about him abusing that position.
Well,
GG.
GG gets called. Ladies and gentlemen, the series is going to go to Snoot. Congratulations to him. But, okay, I'm not sure. We asked if they could hold Bunny versus Hydra, so I'm hoping that hasn't started yet. Fingers are crossed. We're going to go to a small break, and when we return, we'll let you know what we're casting, but it'll be one of the round of 8 matches, both of the semifinal matches, and then the grand finals still to come for the Matcherino Cup. We'll also try and get the coupon code sorted so you guys can get some more. And people are asking what's with the wigs at the top of the stream? Well, if you missed it, it's not a wig. These are representations of hair color, which Zombie Grub's going to dye when we go to DreamHack. So you can help us pick which hair color she goes with. And all the proceeds from this will just go to paying for her visit to like a salon so she can get done professionally instead of having me help her dunk her head under the sink, pour some bleach in, and put the dye in after. And it's going to be a mess. So we'll see you guys in 2 minutes.